Hello, hi everybody. My name is Emily, also known as Ethereal Chasing, and tonight, or today, whenever you're seeing this, it's night for me. I want to talk about human relationships and my experience with familial ones, to be more specific, and how it relates to life, development, the way that you see yourself and the way you see others, and essentially just move about the world. I'm going to be talking about this while I put some hair product in before I go to bed. So that's what I'll be doing with my hands. But before I start, I want to share something that I wrote, as always. Oh love, you set me ablaze, the glimmer in your eye, the glow in your face. I exist to please you, no other may know, the love we share, the fruit we grow. Your heart is mine, I walk with you now. Lift your crown wherever you go, for you are mine. This you must know. I wrote that while thinking about my one true love, which is my Creator. And something that this relates to, if you know anything about I guess it's just like the story of creation, but specifically in India, they believe in the three essential gods that oversee our universe. There is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. I have always felt a strong attachment. I don't want to say attachment, but attachedness to Shiva. And this is because Lord Shiva represents to me that which I've always felt inside, which is like I'm self-destructing. I know that that can be a little harsh for people to hear, but I've spent 26 years coming to terms with this, so I'm pretty good with it. Stormy, please, no. I've always thought that my sense of well-being comes from something bigger than me, and definitely comes from something bigger than any human can really offer. And it is really comforting, even though it might sometimes feel like I'm destined to be forever alone. I realize that it's not alone. Really, it's solitude, peace, and I've been cherishing it for as long as I can remember. But a part of me was simultaneously wishing that I had somebody as well that understood me and loved me, cared for me, protected me, all the things. And growing up, I looked to, as many people do, our parents and our guardians to provide this, but in particular, my parents were very young when they had me. They were 19 and 20, and it always felt like I was their equal rather than their inferior, if that makes any sense. Rather than them being some people that I look up to, it was more like we're on the same level, like often coming to me for advice and seeking me to be the mediator when they were not getting along many, many times. So because of that, I've always had this weight around my heart regarding parental love and feeling safe with a guardian, because I was never given the opportunity to. It was always transactional. I pulled a promise from God for women, by the way. This is one of my favorite little decks. The one that we received today is, may the Lord lead your hearts into a full understanding and experience. May the Lord lead your hearts into a full understanding and expression of the love of God and the patient endurance that comes from Christ. Patient endurance. May God's kindness and love always be with you. This one wants me to say it as well. Prayers go up and blessings come down. May you be blessed by the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Two very perfect cards that are making me realize how perfect everything is. It's something that I always craved. When you grow up with emotionally unavailable parents and emotionally manipulative as well, it can be difficult to have a healthy sense of relation, and knowing what actual partnership looks like can be pretty muddled when you experience such drastic polarities from a mother and father, for instance. But it's not the end of the world if you are somebody that can relate to not having very present parents. Then one, my heart goes out to you, and two, know that it's a blessing. It's a blessing because the understanding, the knowledge, and the strength that you have realized because of that are the reason why your love, your future love life or partner, if you don't have one already, are going to be the fullest expression of God's love, which is the greatest love in the universe. It's really important to understand and remember that nothing happens for no reason. Everything is cause and effect. Everything is always playing with itself. For instance, the little you that was sitting in class or was running around on the playground is still the you listening to this video. There's no separation between those two events other than your perception of time, which, if you understand time, the concept of it is pretty much collapsible, bendable. It's nothing to be afraid of or really quantified. It's just a way that humans measure. And there is both relief and expansion when that concept is fully integrated into your being. You begin to understand that the reason why your parents were or are the way that they are is because of your unique path on earth. There are certain realizations that your being, your soul, desires to have on this earth. And the only way for those to come about is to be okay and accepting of both the yin and the yang. There's something about saying the good and the bad that just doesn't resonate with me anymore. I catch myself describing things as either good or bad sometimes, and it's definitely something that is much larger than we realize. Those words are much more powerful than we understand. So I will do my best to describe things as just yin and yang, contrast and not. So as I was saying, although childhoods can be what some describe as traumatic, it's really important to understand that you wouldn't be who you are if those things didn't happen. And with that comes an innate sense of gratitude. And that can be a little difficult for people to grasp, that concept of being grateful for trauma, essentially. Some people want to describe it, but that really is what God is asking of us at this time, is to appreciate the contrast, as Abraham Hicks calls it. It's just one side of the coin that we turn our attention to and our focus on, when the focus should be on the domino effect that it essentially had in your life. You have very special talents and incredibly unique perspectives because of what you have experienced on this earth, because of what you have experienced in the ethers as well. I'm definitely talking to people that understand the different planes of existence, and whether you realize it or not, your soul travels on all of those planes, and it collects information and wisdom, and the work that you do while you're asleep can be attributed to a type of integration of all of these wisdoms and knowledges. It's really important to rest. I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's very important to rest, especially when you're going through what might be considered an awakening, which is all the time. But especially when you feel your body asking you to rest, just listening to it, that can really help with the unconscious and subconscious integration that has to occur for you to fully understand these larger topics, such as having gratitude for one's pain and understanding that pain is actually a reason to be happy. In the moment that you feel really upset about something, you can flip the switch and turn it into observation. I know that going straight to appreciation is not always the easiest thing, especially if it's a really big event, which I never want to undermine. Switching from the victim to the witness is incredibly powerful. When you remove yourself from the experience and let yourself be the observer, you realize that you were being trapped in some sort of thought form that you might have not realized. For instance, my mom and the people around her, like her sisters, or her parents have a tendency to use emotions to manipulate a situation to benefit them, which usually looks like painting themselves as the victim. This is something that I have witnessed ever since I was a child. And I realize now that this is not, or those things were not meant to victimize me. That's maybe what they wanted to accomplish. However, nothing that is brought to you is not within God's will. If something happens to you, it's because it's for your betterment, your journey. And it took a long time for me to hello. Are you okay? My cat is just being nosy. It took a long time for me to understand this, that even though it felt like they wanted to hurt me, I always had God with me, protecting me. And what these situations were doing was teaching me how not to be. It was teaching me what to look for when I grow older, because there are always going to be people in this world attempting to move you off of your path. And it's really important that you know what that looks like so that you don't fall into it. And the reason why I'm so grateful for all of the family members and friends that attempted to do this to me is because I needed to know what it looks like, how it looks, and I needed to know that it can feel extremely personal, but it doesn't mean that it is. That was my big lesson from those situations, is even though it's somebody that I trust and love and would do anything for and thought so differently of, it's never personal, so don't take it that way. That is a lesson that God was trying to teach me for many years, until I finally listened and realized that no matter how seemingly close or secure a person feels, it's never personal. It's never personal. So I really enjoy using the example of from victim to observer, because I feel that really resonates with a lot of people, especially people that may have considered themselves to be extremely empathetic at one point in their life, or even now. Or maybe you feel like you used to be what some call a people pleaser. Or maybe you feel like you've always been what is that saying? The punchline to other people's jokes, something like that. You've always been made to feel like you were less than. And it's because God has been trying to teach you something. And it's not personal. Never take it personal. I know that things can feel really heavy and hard, especially when it's people close to you, or when it's things that you really care about. But just know that there's something bigger happening that you can't always see, but you can receive glimpses of it. I'm hearing pray more. If you're wondering about if your life is really going to turn out the way that you imagined, look for the signs that you ask God for, and trust that, I'm hearing tomorrow's a new day. Trust that tomorrow will come for you, because it's something about the journey that people have a hard time seeing. It's that saying that we're always told, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And there are definitely people that hear that and get really upset. They don't like that saying. And that tells you something about them. But those that resonate with that understand fully how the only thing that ever mattered and ever matters is the present moment, is where you are right now. If you are continuously playing the things in the distant past that you feel are negatively affecting you, I urge you to quickly shift that into some sort of positive reflection if you can. And I would love to help you if you are struggling with this. Just comment below the thought pattern that you feel repeating for yourself, and I will tell you what I feel from it, what Spirit is telling me to tell you from it, so that you can turn it around and start living your life for you rather than for the past or for these other people, because that's what you're really doing. That's what we are all doing when we replay events in negative lights. We are giving that situation and those energies power over our present moment, which is exactly what they wanted in the first place. It's a waste of your energy, it's a waste of your brain power, and it's a waste of God's time, because God is time. You're wasting the power that be by replaying things and harping over things that no longer serve you. The moment that they served you is the moment that it happened. That's when the lesson was meant to be learned. Now that you're wiser or older or both, you can understand how the lesson can always be retrieved. You don't need to replay the pain or the disharmony or the upset. You can objectively think about it as the observer, as the witness, and receive the wisdom that you need from that situation. It's empowering to remove your emotion from a memory. And that might be something that's easier said than done for a lot of you, but it's really important. This concept is really important to understand, especially in this day and age where everything feels like it's emotionally driven. Like everything that you see on TV, everything that you see on billboards, everything you hear on the radio is being done to elicit a strong reaction from people. And it wasn't always like this. Like if you look at old advertising back in the day, it was a lot more simple, more straight to the point. But when you look around today, you realize that this is an emotional, this is turning into a strong emotional experience, because people have realized that that's the quickest way to get to people's centers, to get to their wallet, I'm hearing, to make people pay for something. You use emotion nowadays rather than logic, and that's something that we need to heal as a collective by becoming more aware of this and removing ourselves from ideas and concepts, and realizing that that's all ego trying to insert itself on your experience, and it's not actually you. It's not your soul. So removing yourself from emotion. Maybe that's a concept you've heard before, and maybe you're working on it now. I really want to know what you find is easiest to do this. What are your practices to eliminate as much egoic interference as you can throughout your day? I feel like those things are really needed right now. Please share that with the people that are willing to listen. Don't allow your wisdom to fall on deaf ears, you know? Because it's powerful. What you have to say when the ego is completely removed is more powerful than you even understand. When you think about times in your life, like when you were younger and you felt like the people around you didn't protect you, or you feel like the things that happened to you could have been prevented by adult intervention. When you think about those things, do your best to remember yourself as a spiritual being, as a soul, not as the body, not as the age that you were, not as the victim, okay? See yourself as a soul having just a human experience. See yourself as an actor or an actress in a movie. It will benefit you greatly to see yourself as more than just that victim, or more than just that child, more than just the person that experienced it. Rather, see yourself as this expanding life force that came down to earth craving expansion, craving truth, craving wisdom. Imagine yourself conspiring with all of the people involved before you came down to earth and making a plan to awaken, and realizing that this is all happening. It's all already happened. The trick is to remember that. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I had a lot of fun talking about this topic with you, and I really hope that you heard something that makes you feel better, makes you feel safer, because nothing can hurt you now. You've come this far. There's a reason why you're here. Just trust that things are always working out for you. I'm going to pull from my favorite deck. I'm sure you've seen it before on my channel. Sacred Cycles. Let's see. Maybe some of you are craving more pleasure and feeling like the universe is your provider instead of another person. Definitely take time to look at yourself, okay, without any clothes on, and admire what you see. This is your vessel. This is what you wanted when you came down here. So appreciate it. And we have 7, waning crescent moon. This card also reduces to 7, maybe 777 could be really important to you right now, feeling lucky, feeling abundant. It's really important at this time for a lot of you too to go out in nature. I know that people probably say that all the time, but do you actually do it? Like, I understand people have jobs and lives that are usually inside because of the way our society is set up, but there's always time to even just go for a walk around the neighborhood or just sit out on your patio if you can. Something about seeing birds and watching them, just enjoying their presence, listening to them sing is really important. Also dancing and doing a fire ritual is really important right now. Maybe writing something that you feel can just be like a confessional almost, like just pouring out everything on your head and your heart onto a piece of paper. Obviously not fearing if somebody else reads it because you're going to burn it. So using it as an opportunity to sit with God and allow the greater forces to transmute that pain into power. That's really significant for somebody here. And we have spring. Life is beautiful. Life is really, really beautiful. I hope that wherever you are, you feel that too. Let me know down below what resonated with you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.